What is up, friends? Welcome back to the Treehouse Brewing Company YouTube channel, where today we are discussing the 24 wonderful beverages that we packaged this week. If you're not familiar, Treehouse is much beyond just a brewery these days, and we have a non-alcoholic beverage program. We make and roast our own coffee and extract our own cold brew. We have our own distillery where we make distilled spirits and also canned cocktails, and of course, our pride and joy, our classic style beer program, and more broadly, our hoppy beer program. So with all that said, we're going to dive right into the first beverage that I want to highlight today. It's called Cotter. It's a non-alcoholic seltzer made with hibiscus and peach. I love it so much, I'm actually drinking one as we speak here off camera. Cotter is made with whole leaf hibiscus steeped in water, and then we add fresh peach puree, and it just makes a really nice combination. It's a nice color. It's a deep kind of pink or red if you pour it into a glass, and it tastes great. Next beverage I want to feature is a new entry into the seltzer program, our Apple Pie Seltzer. The Cellar team was super excited to put this one together. I know a lot of trial and error went into it. A little bit of apple, a little bit of spice, a lot of carbonation, easy drinking, almost no calories. Hard to go wrong. Moving quickly into our coffee program, you guys on the channel are familiar with Monochrome. Monochrome is our flagship cold brew. It features an amazing blend that we've sourced from different places in South America to create a very chocolate-forward, balanced, full-bodied, well-rounded, everyday cold brew that hopefully everybody that tries it will love, recognize, and enjoy. Estrellita is how you pronounce this. Actually, for years I've pronounced it Estrellita, but recently it was brought to my attention that I was saying it wrong. So this is Estrellita. This is actually our direct trade cold brew and one of the coffees that we're most proud of here at Treehouse. Pablo and Eva Del Cid from Guatemala. We've worked directly with them on their farm to help them. We actually purchased an eco-friendly wet mill to improve the quality of their coffee beans and to improve kind of the relationship that we have with our growers around the world, and specifically Pablo and Eva Del Cid. So this coffee is a product of a direct feedback loop. We purchase the coffee directly, which gives them higher margins, a higher quality of living, and the best thing about it is that it tastes phenomenal. Third beverage I want to feature from the coffee program is our Core House Latte. So it's a coffee much like Monochrome, super big, rich, full-bodied, and then we add our favorite creamy oat milk to it, and you wind up with a super, super creamy, luscious, not too sweet, not too calorie dense, everyday drinking house latte. These are very popular around the brewery. I see a lot of open cans every morning when I make my way around to see how everybody's doing. It's house latte. Yuletide Nog Oat Latte. Like all of our lattes, it starts with a very rich, full-bodied base of Treehouse roasted and extracted coffee, and then is imparted with the flavor and character of eggnog. If you like eggnog, you are going to love Yuletide Nog Oat Latte, I can promise you. This was incredibly popular last year, sold out as fast as we could make it. This year we plan to make a little bit more. I'm not sure if it will be enough. So if you want to try this and have this around the table at Thanksgiving or Christmas, I would recommend getting out here sooner rather than later. All right, so before I move into the distillery, I just want to mention really quickly, if you're unfamiliar, this past autumn, we opened a very, very convenient beer-to-go operation right in the center of Boston at the Prudential Center. Whether you're in your car or you're on foot, we can get you out of there with all of these beverages in record time. We'll link a video down below in terms of how to get beer at the Pru, but definitely if you're close, do not miss that operation. It's super convenient, and we have all of the beverages that you see here ready at your fingertips. This is an exciting week. Old Fashioned, first batch of 2024. Another wicked, wicked popular cocktail last year. These are what's called our ready-to-shake cocktails. All you have to do is put them over ice, give them a shake, and pour them into your favorite glass. Treehouse Bourbon Whiskey is 100% made in-house. It always will be. We mash, ferment, distill everything that we make. We also age and condition it and blend ourselves in-house, which I think brings a certain character that's different from character that you may find elsewhere. The program is very young and very new, but we've been at it for a while now, and the progress that we've had has been tremendous, and we can't wait to share more with you. But in the meantime, this simple mixed cocktail, you can't go wrong around the fire this holiday season. That is the Treehouse Old Fashioned. It's like the week of super popular beverages. If you want these, you got to get down here. I want you to get your hands on Coquito. Coquito is made with rum, the pride of Puerto Rico, and this is just filled with luscious coconut, rich spice flavor. It's very, very rich, very, very wonderful to drink. A huge staff favorite. And we think this batch is better than ever. So if you're interested in trying that, it will be available at all locations that carry Treehouse Spirits in Massachusetts. The final beverage that I want to talk about today is Percy's Punch in a brand new, really nice, sleek can. Percy's Punch is autumn encapsulated within a can. It has black tea, cranberry, maple, apple cider, sweet spice, and treehouse gin, which is made with apples. When you drink this, you just think autumn, you think coziness, you think crunchy leaves. Everything about this just screams autumn in New England, and this new fancy can just makes it feel all that much more special. Nomad, you heard me talk about last week. I called it one of my Mount Rushmore bucket list treehouse beers. That will always be true. For this particular batch, we added the sugar maple oak spirals that we also added to Canada Gold sugar maple, and the result is just phenomenal. That sweetness and that little bit of tannic oak character within the rich, kind of chocolatey base beer of Nomad is just phenomenal, and you have to try it to believe it. This to me is as good as a beer gets, and it's as good as Treehouse gets, in my opinion. So certainly don't miss Nomad Sugar Maple. All right, the next beer I want to feature is a beer called the Grotta, which I think translates to the cave in French. This is a French style Pilsner made with all French ingredients. So you're going to get a character of place in France, or from France, I should say. And then on the can, it features some literary efforts by Evan here in the cellar at Treehouse, who is a trained poet and who has taken recently to writing some canned copy. And I encourage you not to miss that as well. Moving into Bear. Bear's our brown ale. Don't have too much to say about Bear. It comes around regularly. It's full of like brown bread toffee character. It's a much bigger, richer brown ale than you might be accustomed to. Comes in at 6.4%. Really, really, really potent and characterful beer. Ton of complexity for 6.4%. Drinks much bigger than most brown ales that you might be accustomed to. So if you like a complex, full-bodied beer, I would not miss Bear. Moving into a beer that is called All That Is and All That Ever Will Be. I first brewed this beer in Munson, I want to say for Lauren and my second anniversary, all the way back in 2016. It's a milk stout brewed with chocolate. In my opinion, it's one of the most chocolate-forward beers you will ever taste. It tastes like molten dark chocolate. One of my favorite Treehouse beers. Don't miss it if you like a complex but light drinking milk stout. All right, so the last beer that I want to feature today from the classic style program is Woodstock Pilsner. This is a straightforward but delicious classic style Pilsner made with all Connecticut grown malt, noble hops, super crisp. We lager it for a super long time. No frills, a little bit punchy, a little bit bitter, a little bit hoppy, easy to drink. That's Woodstock Pilsner. Moving into the pale and hoppy section of this week's releases, we start things off with a pale ale called Little Machine. Little Machine is basically our endeavor to brew Juice Machine in pale ale form. It contains a very similar hop bill, which is kind of an interesting hop bill. It's super hazy, super juicy, good earthy bitterness, no frills, all the deliciousness of Juice Machine in a 5.5% alcohol package. Moving into kind of the core beer section of the week, we've talked about this a few times where each week we release a rotating set of core beers that come around often. Of course, we have Julius, which is available in Woodstock. We have Julius, which is available in Charlton. They are equally delicious, and they are literally and technically the same beer. The guys were all turned in knots about the 11-14 packaging of Julius being the best of the year. With each new batch that we package, we attempt to make it better than ever, and those guys were super excited about this week's batch. We'll see if they're right. The next core beer that I want to feature, of course, is Haze. Haze has been brewed at Treehouse for over a decade now. It's brewed to taste like peach nectar, and this batch, I can assure you, does. And the final core beer, rotational beer that I want to talk about is Emperor Julius. In last week's video, we talked about King Triple Julius, and Emperor Julius came along when we thought, hey, we pushed the envelope with King Triple Julius. It's been a little while. Let's push the envelope further. And, Emperor Julius was the result of that. Super, super, super citrusy, mango forward, hop saturated. Again, another moment in time where we just pushed the idea of Julius further and further. And the interesting thing about that is not everybody likes everything to be more, 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 but everyone has favorites in terms of where it hits just right for them. And Emperor Julius is on the very, very big, very, very juicy end of the spectrum, if that's your kind of thing. Every anniversary since our 7th anniversary, we began to brew a double IPA every year to kind of mark where we're at in our progression as brewers. We thought before we wrapped up 2024 to reprise 12th Anniversary IPA. The way that we think about this is that it's a snapshot of where our brewing acumen was at the time. We don't impart any new stuff to it when we rebrew it. It's simply a time capsule of that moment in time. And 12th Anniversary hit really hard for us. It was super, super opaque, super juicy, and it's hard to go wrong if you get your hands on some 12th Anniversary. I live and breathe all of these beverages week in and week out, but putting them in front of me and actually getting to talk about them, it's just such an impressive set of work that the team here at Treehouse does each week. I'm in awe of this every week, and the team deserves the utmost credit for all the effort, energy, and passion that goes into each of these cans every single week. It's something to behold. Next beer I want to feature is called Twilight of Autumn. Twilight of Autumn is the ultimate expression of autumn. Autumn is made with Galaxy hops. The family tree kind of goes like this. You have autumn, stick season, and then Twilight of Autumn. And Twilight of Autumn is the ultimate expression of that Galaxy dense, super big, juicy double IPA. We push the envelope a little bit on alcohol. We push the envelope on malt, and we hop the ever-loving daylights out of it. And so the result is that super big expression of autumn, if you like that sort of thing. 2024 happens to be a year of 10s for Treehouse for one reason or another. The year 2014 for us was super, super important. So we've been celebrating a lot of big milestones, one of which is the 10th anniversary of Juice Machine. This beer just features some of the more modern hops that we've become familiar with in the last couple of years atop the Juice Machine process, and then uses some of the learned knowledge that we've gained over the past 10 years of brewing. We loved it so much the first time that we had to brew it again. The first time we packaged it in a black can with the same label, and this time we packaged it in a gold can with a gold lid, which I think actually looks cooler. So if you're into the aesthetic of your double IPA cans, this is one of the cooler ones that we've ever made. All right, if you've stuck with me this long, thank you. We've got 2 more beverages to feature. We have a beer called Milky Green. We always tweak our core beers. We don't tweak them a ton, just little incremental adjustments. This beer is as if we had carte blanche to make big changes. We changed the base malt, bigger dry hop, slightly different yeast blend, just some big changes to green that we wouldn't normally implement in the normal green to help us understand what we would do if we had that much insight. We're trying to get further with the concept of green in a faster time period than we would if we iterate small. So if this is successful, some of the concepts from Milky Green will find their way into green, which will hopefully make green better. All right, so final beer I want to highlight, very fortuitous, I guess. Michael and I were setting up. It's always very hectic when we're trying to shoot a video. I got a lot going on. Lauren came in and said, hey, there's this gentleman here. His name is Pete. He's celebrating his 10th Treehouse anniversary. And I said to Lauren, Pete Kuntzis? And she's like, yeah, how'd you know? And I'm like, well, he's the reason that we revived Curiosity 10 and brewed it. He actually tweeted at us. And in the moment where we were about to make the video where we talked about the beer that we made because Pete tweeted at us, she came in and said that he was here.
And you're up to 148 today, I guess.
We're up to 148 today, yeah, all the way from 10. So when Lauren told me that you were here, I had to tell you that literally because of that tweet, we made this beer again for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, why are you here today, though? You're celebrating something special.
Well, my 10th anniversary to the day of my first trip to Treehouse.
It's the year of 10s. Man, if that's not Kismet, I'm not sure what is. And that's, I think, what Treehouse is all about. It's about community, it's about memories, it's about sharing, and it's about living a life that we hopefully dream of. Beverages are not the only things that we release on a weekly basis. We actually have our own clothing line that we've sourced and designed ourselves. This particular shirt, which came out this week, we did not source and design ourselves. Field Day designed this in conjunction with us. It's actually an imprint of the Treehouse logo in the pattern. It's one of the coolest shirts ever. You guys often ask how you can get this, and as of the time of this filming, I think it's going to be in the retail shop only. But that's the pleasure of visiting Treehouse, is sometimes you get the coolest stuff. Final thing I want to mention is that the Treehouse Winter Lodge, a hugely popular installation that we had last winter, is returning this weekend. We're going to have these old fashions, coquitos. We're going to have an amazing light display. We're going to see you there this holiday season. We're going to see you here at Treehouse, and we're going to have a great time together. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts below, and we'll see you next time.